What's happening, YouTube? It's Carrie here. It is October the 19th, and I wanted to do my 6-month post-op top surgery video. It happened on the 12th, so I'm a week late, so I'm actually 6 months in a week. But life was just so busy. Last weekend was Atlanta Pride, and we had a great time. We really, really did. So anyway, I wanted to give you an update on what's going on with my chest, how I'm healing, how I'm feeling, a couple of tips and things maybe to look out for when you are about to go have your top surgery or when you're planning your top surgery. So I'll probably go through a couple of those things first, then I'll show you where I am at 6 months. But and I'll explain a little bit more of what I mean by excuse me, some of the stuff. So the first thing I would say as a tip would be make sure before you see any surgeons that you know exactly what you want or what your vision is for your chest to look like. You know what your plan is for your final outcome, because that's really, really important, that your surgeon knows exactly what you want, And when I show you, you'll understand what I'm actually talking about when I say this. But it's really imperative that you guys are on the same page and you're communicating properly about this. So, for instance, like for me, I told my surgeon that I wanted nothing, right? Nothing. But he suggested that I leave some tissue because I'm a larger person. I'm on my journey of weight loss, but I'm not done yet. So my hope is that I continue on my journey, that my chest will go down some more. But for my liking and for my dysphoria, there's a little bit too much breast tissue left for me. So, maybe someday down the road, I may decide to have some sort of revision and have a little bit of the tissue removed. I don't know. I'm really going to wait and see, again, as my weight loss journey continues, how that's going to be. But if I were to never change and stay exactly as I am, the exact same weight, the exact same bulk that I have in my torso, I would definitely have to have something done, I feel. Because, when you get rid of that dysphoria by having top surgery and then it doesn't really look exactly the way that you want, that dysphoria is still there about your chest. So maybe not as bad, but it's still there. And mostly in shirts and stuff, you really can't tell. So I'm pretty cool with that. And I don't fault my surgeon at all. I think my surgeon did a phenomenal job. I highly still recommend him. I would go back to him again. But what I should have done is been very imperative in saying, I really don't want anything up there. And unfortunately, I think sometimes you have to be that way with surgeons. And I'm sure that in his mind, he was doing and giving me suggestions on what, in his experience of doing these with all different shapes of people, what the best recommendation is for my body type. And I get that. As a massage therapist, I understand, you want to share things with people that you feel are going to fit and align with their body. So, and sometimes that's different. So, it's just kind of a learn as you go. I don't regret anything. And like I said, if down the road I decide that I want to have a revision, I can still do that. So that's like the big thing. That's probably the most important thing that I've realized over the past few months. Because I thought, after swelling went down and stuff, that I would have a flatter chest. And kind of the way that the scars are aligned, and you'll see kind of the way that the scars are aligned, it almost looks like there's a shadow underneath my chest that makes them look even bigger than I think they are. But again, that could be all in my mind. Ultimately, I'm very happy with it, but I do still have some dysphoria with the amount of tissue that's left. Second is finances. So whether you're paying for it yourself, whether you have a credit card that's paying for it, whether you have a line of credit, I used Care Credit for mine, so whether you have a line of credit or whatever, make sure that you read all of the print in your contract and with your, not only with your doctor, but the hospital, the anesthesiologist, and all that stuff. Read it all. Because what I've noticed is my understanding was I would go in and I would have one flat payment. I would pay the doctor's office, everything, and then they would pay out all my bills. That was my understanding, and it's my fault that I didn't go in and read all of the fine print about it. However, what I'm learning months later is that every once in a while you're going to get a little bill in here, and you're going to get a little bill in here. If you were lucky enough to have your insurance pay for it, then there might be pieces that your insurance didn't cover. So I keep getting little bills here and there, for $100, $200, $300 from the anesthesiologist, from the radiologist, from the pathologist, not from the doctor's office, but from everyone else involved, the hospital. So I was not prepared for all the little extra pieces of finances that were going to go into this, that I would have to cover personally. If I'd have known that ahead of time, I think, and it's nobody's fault but mine, because again, like I said, I didn't read the fine print on everything, but had I known that ahead of time, I could have planned accordingly for paying off some of these bills. Anyway, just make sure you know exactly 100% what you are responsible for when you go in to meet with in your consultation or your financial consultation or whichever part of it that there is, and however you're paying. Ask the questions. Make sure that everything is covered. Just a clue. So the third thing, I know there was more, but I for whatever reason I can't remember, but the third thing I think is really important is to remember to have patience. I know a lot of people go into this procedure thinking that overnight they're going to be healed and they're going to feel better. And I think mentally and emotionally, psychologically, you definitely feel better because there's a piece of you that made you so uncomfortable and so happy for so long that's now gone. So that part of it, is very important mentally and emotionally and psychologically. But physically, make sure you have patience with yourself because your body's going to take time to heal. And I still, even though I've had my procedure done, I do watch videos of some guys who are having their procedures done or they just had it done and they're really impatient because they're 3 weeks out from surgery and they're frustrated with themselves because they can't reach that or they can't do this or they can't dress themselves or whatever it happens to be, because everybody heals differently and on a different time frame. So I don't want people to get discouraged because they think they're going to be here when they're here, So just remember to have patience with yourself. Your body knows what to do, and it's going to heal the way that it's supposed to heal. And also comparisons, God, in this lifetime as it is, we spend way too much time comparing ourselves, our status, our goals, our skills to other people, our bodies to other people. So don't do that because your body is very different than my body, who is very different than the next person's body. And all you're going to be is disappointed if you feel like you're not as far as so-and-so is. So just remember, have patience. Don't compare yourself. Love your body. Be grateful for the body that you have. Love it. And the more love that you give to yourself, the faster your healing is going to be because it's all works together. This is all one system. So the mind and the heart and everything else works together. So if you're in a really down, dark place, that's what your focus is going to be, and that's how your body is going to heal for you. Okay, so just try to keep your chin up. Just know that this is not, you're doing something now that's going to benefit you for the rest of your life. It took you how many years to get here, so just remember that you're going to eventually get to where you want to be. You just have to have patience to get there. I think that's all the tips that I can think of right at the moment, so I'm going to do a little reveal and show you where I am with my healing. I think everything is going really, really well. I'm very, very excited and happy with how things are going. Like I said, if I could change a couple of things, I certainly would. So this is pretty much what it looks like. And like I said, you can kind of see the shadow right where the scar is. It's like right underneath, so it almost looks like I have a lot of breast. I don't really, in the big scheme of things. I was a 38 double D. So in the big scheme of things, I love where I am, okay? But there is just a little too much tissue in here for me, especially on this right side. If I turn to the side, you can kind of see what I'm talking about. I mean, I've definitely been working out with trainers, so I know that I'm building stuff. This side's not near as bad, but you can kind of see, I know you can kind of see what I'm talking about. So this is what I'm saying. Make sure you know, because my doctor thought I would look strange if my chest size didn't match my torso size. But I think I would have been just fine. Excuse that. That's where the cat got me. But you never know. So anyway, I think that it's healing nicely. It's amazing how on camera the scars look so much red than they actually are. Because it's really, really not this red anymore. It's fading really well. There's some spots that are actually starting to get a little bit more white than others, so that's really good. You know, I have a little bit of extra skin right here. I'm not concerned about that at all. I'm really not. My scars go pretty far back, and the biggest reason for that is because I had liposuction. I had a lot of side meat here, and you can still see. I mean, I'm not a thin person by any means, so that's all part of my goal, is to thin all of this down. But you know, when I'm standing normal like this, you know, I'm very happy with the results as to what I used to look at when I looked in the mirror. I'll say that. But so I'm still putting on my biocornium every single day. And the doctor said, Dr. Linsenberg said, until the red is gone, continue to put the stuff on. So 6 months in, I'm still putting on my biocornium every morning. I'll put that on my nipples as well as my scars. And then in the evenings, I put on Mederma. So I'm trying to get some healing effects from both the silicone and from the onion peel. I don't really put the Mederma on my nipples because it seems to irritate my skin around the nipples. But as far as like sensitivity, you know, I pretty much can feel that it's, some days I'm a little bit more tender around the outsides than others. But for the most part, I have sensation pretty much everywhere. You know, I do have still some tenderness in the scarring area, but I do have sensation. I still itch a lot underneath, but I have sensation all the way around. I still have numbness on the very sides, right up in here where the liposuction, the majority of the liposuction happened. It's not as bad as it used to, but it's still there. Every once in a while, I still feel like my chest is in a vice where it's real tight if I don't stretch it out or whatever. But I have full range of motion. I'm not, you know, nothing is inhibiting me. I'm at the gym. I'm doing exactly what I want to be doing in the gym, building up muscle and trying to tone while doing some cardio to lose some of this torso. But so I think my nipples are doing well. I have my camera a little bit too high, but you know, a little bit too much nipple for me, I think. But I have to wonder if some of the reasons why some of the things that I have had done to me is because when I went in for my consultation, my goal was to have a breast removal. You know, I still at that point was, you know, very much living a female life. And so perhaps, if at that time I probably would have said, you know, my goal is to transition, then maybe he would have looked at the recontouring of my chest differently. But that's on me, you know, because at that time, well, when I had my consultation, that was almost 8 months ago. So, you know, 8 months ago, I was in a different place in my life. So, you know, it is what it is. And like I said, ultimately, I'm extremely happy with the progress and where I am. And I would do it all over again. And I would probably make some changes the next time, but I would do it all over again. But anyway, so that's where I am. If you guys have any questions about any of that, please let me know. Put it in the comments below, and I'm happy to answer any questions. I'm an open book, so I'm happy to answer any questions that you guys might have. Also, I just want to show you, this is one of our shirts that we do. So my wife Lisa and I have a company called Authentic Life Now, and our goal is to at least share a little bit of apparel with people to make them feel like they're in their authentic lives and living them or their authentic selves. So I'll put a link also in the description for if you're interested in this shirt or see some of the many other shirts that we have and designs that we have. That would be great, and it certainly would help us. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe and share and hit that little bell so you'll always get updates from me. There's going to be a lot more videos coming out as you're going to see how we transition this YouTube channel. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. I know this is kind of a long video. I appreciate all the support that I've gotten along the way, and we will see you on the other side. Peace.